And we sit here and wonder. What we wonder about is the evolution of Android phones over the last couple of months. Let me give you an example. This is the Apple iPhone 5. The 16 gig version of this phone is retailing in the Indian market for about 45,500 rupees. This is the HTC One X Plus. It was launched recently in India and we have seen it retailing in the market even now for around 41,000 rupees. You would wonder, this is probably the outer limit for Android phones who would price the phones a little sensibly, much lesser than the iPhone, and claim to have the value for money aspect. No, that's where you went wrong. This is the HTC Butterfly. It's a 5-inch phone and guess what the price is? 45,500 rupees for the 16 gig version. Does it really compare to the Apple iPhone 5 for the same amount of money? On the outside, yes. On the spec sheet, yes. Let's just give you a detailed look at the HTC Butterfly. This is the latest flagship phone from HTC. It's actually kind of competing with the Galaxy Note 2. Sort of. The Galaxy Note 2 has a 5.5-inch display, this has a 5-inch display. But this is the first smartphone to come with a full HD resolution display. And it's an SLCD 3, not an SLCD 2 that we saw in the HTC One X and the One X Plus. We'll give you some comparison shots of how the SLCD 3 compares to the predecessor, the SLCD 2, and the Retina display on the iPhone 5 in this video review. Let me just run you through the build quality aspects of this phone. You would imagine a 5-inch phone to be huge. No, it's not. If you compare it to the 4-inch iPhone 5, not much of a difference, is it? I personally have no problems with single hand use on this phone, albeit you have to move it a little in your hands. You have to move your palm a little, but that's about it. The front is the traditional HTC look, 3 keys below the display, return, home, and what you would have as a task manager. On the side, this is the volume rocker, brilliantly done. The rubberized finish on the back is quite similar to what we saw on the HTC 8X Windows Phone device some time back. Here is the micro USB slot with a flap. On the top here is another slot. This is what you open to access the memory card slot, and there's a pin here. There's a pinhole here which is used to access the SIM card slot. The 3.5mm jack is also on the top. Build quality wise, this phone is absolutely fantastic. Everyone in the test center was kind of surprised by the premiumness of this build quality. The color combination that we have on this review unit, the black and the little bit of a scarlet tinge on the sides and around the earpiece here, looks fantastic. There will be 3 colors of this phone available in India. HTC has confirmed there will be a white version which will not have the red. There will be a red version which will obviously not have the red boundary. It's going to be completely red. And there's this one. All will have the rubberized finish on the back, which is very much appreciated. In terms of usability, this one is a lot more pocketable and adept to single hand use than the Galaxy Note 2. The rubberized finish on the back helps immensely with the grip. It's not very heavy either, so you should not have any problems using it with a single hand or while you're carrying it around. The materials used are very premium. Having said that, there are a couple of issues with this phone. The primary one being the dust covers or the flaps on the various access ports. Now the first one, the Microusb port, it's nice to have a cover on this, but this one neither does it open easily nor does it close very easily. The same goes for the slot at the top for the memory card and the SIM card slots. So you may want to be a little gentle with these if you're using, particularly with the Microusb port for charging. This is a very powerful phone. It's got the Qualcomm Snapdragon S4 Pro quad-core processor, 2 gigs of RAM with it, 16 gigs of internal storage, and a micro SD card slot. Compare this to the One X Plus. The One X Plus came with 64 gigs of inbuilt storage but no memory card expansion slot. So that's a little bit of a trade-off, but then again, you're not losing out anything, you're just getting storage in a different format. In terms of display quality, we find that the colors and text crispness on this one with the full HD resolution is absolutely unmatched, and including the iPhone 5 in that comparison. This display is doing what it does best. It will be equally comfortable when you're using it as a phone, for reading text, for reading an ebook, for typing out mails, and also equally brilliant for multimedia consumption. In terms of performance, you will read a detailed comparison between multiple phones in our detailed text review of the HTC Butterfly, but from what we can say, this is going to blow the competition out of the water. We have run some benchmarks on this, and this is unmatched at the moment. I mean, it is surpassing the previous best phones, the One X Plus, the Galaxy S3 and the Galaxy Note 2 by quite some margin. So you will get the detailed exact numbers in our review on the website. The camera performance, what we can say at the moment initially, is a little disappointing. This is the same 8MP camera as we saw on the One X Plus, but this has a slightly different backlighting method to it. Unfortunately, side-by-side comparisons of the same shots between the One X Plus, the iPhone 5 and this with HDR and without HDR does give out some disappointing results. We will do some more testing on this to confirm, and we'll have the detailed version of that in our text review. So, all in all, would you buy the HTC Butterfly? More to the point, would I recommend the HTC Butterfly? As a consumer, you might sit and wonder, for 45,500, 45,900, you get the iPhone 5, you get this. For a little lower, you get the One X Plus. If you go a little lower, you get the Galaxy Note 2, and a little lower, you get the Galaxy S3. So why is it this expensive? Even we wonder why this is this expensive, but what we can be sure of is market forces are going to ensure that this one, the price of the HTC Butterfly stabilizes, and once it does, this is an absolutely brilliant device. The new sense on this one is much different from the one that we'd seen till now on the One series of phones. It runs Android 4.1, but the 4.2 update has been confirmed on this, so it should be arriving in probably the next month or so. So you're pretty much set on that. So if you need a big screen phone, you should consider this. The only thing is you're spending a lot of money. That's the only niggle that I find with this particular phone. Apart from that, it's a very, very good device, and we expect this to be the best performer in Android phones we've tested across till now.